Hello everybody and welcome back to a new overview video of my 1920s Lego city. In today's video I'm going to show you what's new, what has changed over the course of the last year, and I'm also going to talk about some future plans because, as you might have noticed if you've been a loyal follower of this channel, then you will have noticed that in the last year a lot of stuff has been going on outside of this room in my life, so I didn't get around to finish that many projects. I didn't get around to execute the many plans that I had for the last year. I still have those ideas because I always write them down, because there are so many ideas I have for this city, and I'm grateful for having all of these ideas and that creativity, but I simply just don't have the amount of time to execute them rapidly. So we're just going to talk about the city. I'm just going to show you around. I'm going to show you what's new, and yeah, so sit back and enjoy. As always, we're going to start here in the Central Park, and nothing has changed in the Central Park really. What has changed though is this weird construction right here. So this basically is to showcase the diameters of the modular museum, because I'm actually thinking of incorporating this museum into my city. Now, as you can see, it's pretty deep, so we would have some trouble with the Central Park. So we would have to, option A, make it smaller, or option B, move it a little towards the sidewalk there. Now, as you can see though, that sidewalk is pretty small because we have my elevated railway station here, and that's gonna stay here. But plans are to change that up quite a bit, because as you can see here, we're starting after the railroad crossing. We're starting with the regular road base plates, but then we have this weird intersection where the road gets split into two, and then we have two separate lanes and a sidewalk in the middle, which is not really used at all, and it only goes until here, and then we have another crossing again. It just doesn't, it's a waste of space. It's a waste of space, to be honest with you, and I think this would look a lot nicer if we would have just regular roads, and then we would have a wider sidewalk, just like here in front of the boutique hotel. We would have a much wider sidewalk, and that again would allow us to move the stairs off the elevated train station inward, and the beginning of the Central Park more towards that space right here, and that again would allow us to have the modular museum right here. So long story short, that's what I'm thinking about doing, and I cannot promise that that actually happens this year, but it's a plan in my mind, it's a plan in my head. And if you've watched the last overview video, then you will have noticed that I already have a museum in my city, my modified museum. I think 4 or even more city museum sets are in this museum mock. And I'm planning to keep this, don't get me wrong, but I think that the modular museum is just a nice building overall, and I was thinking about if I'm actually going to do this. I'm not sure if I am, but if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to integrate this into my city, I'm probably going to modify it into some sort of school or university. I'm not sure about that, but I think it will be a university building. But again, not sure yet, not sure if that's really gonna happen. That is up for the future now, and we should get moving on to this part of the city, which has not changed much, just some cars and nothing you have to notice for now. But the detective's office, that has changed in the last year, maybe even with the water tower. I don't know if that water tower is new as well, but the detective's office got another floor, and it just looks a lot nicer now, especially in contrast with the L right there. That looks a lot better. If the buildings are taller, you can see that the Grand Emporium and the corner building next to it are not that tall, and I don't like that look compared to that. So I might be adding more stories to those two buildings as well in the future. We'll see about that. I've worked on the railroad crossing here, and as you can see, we can see that there because I've added one of these flex track pieces. I have moved the entire train track a little bit more to the edge of the table, and that is because I actually expanded my city by 2 road plates and a little more, because I wanted to actually use the second entrance to my harbor. I always had this ramp right there, I always had it over there, but it was leading into nothing. None of these base plates were here before, and that always bugged me a little bit. I mean, there's no shame in only having one entrance over there to the harbor, but I always had this ramp, and I was always thinking about doing this, and now I finally did it. So it's obviously a work in progress, obviously not finished. Obviously the Arkham Asylum building is probably not going to stay here. It looks alright, but it's just a placeholder, honestly. We're gonna have some sort of warehouse or factory in this small space, but yeah, it's all a work in progress. As you can see, same with the railroad crossing here. It still does not look good. I mean, it's always a challenge to have curves integrated into railroad crossings, so it's never gonna look perfect. But I want to get as close as possible to that. And talking about new things, this moving truck is new. You're going to see a second one of those. I think they look quite nice. I like the design of those a lot. And yeah, the shifting of the train tracks more outwards to the edge of the table allowed me to actually have a real sidewalk here. So I have added some fences there, and I will add some tiles in the future as well. And talking about the elevated railway, I have added a lot of tiles, as you can see, for the new design of my elevated railway. Not on the entire circle, as you can see, and I'm planning to modify that again, change that again, but that is something for a new video that is already in the works, so you will see that in the near upcoming future. What I can tell you, however, is that I am thinking about adding a 4th elevated railway station. So we have the town hall station right there, that's number 1. We've got the downtown station over there, that's number 2, and behind the Assembly Square back there we have the 3rd one, Assembly Square. So I'm thinking about adding a 4th one right here. It's not necessary, but it could look nice. And while I only have one basic design right now, really, I am planning to have multiple different designs for my different elevated railway stations. So it's one of these plans you come up with while you already have a ton of plans which are in the works or need to be executed, but then you're just like, that would look nice. That would look nice. Because when I was in Chicago last year, I saw this elevated railway station that had a footbridge to a nearby mall or merchandise mart. I think that was the name of the station. So to a nearby store or shop building. And I was actually thinking about changing corners, so moving that to that corner and moving the Grand Emporium to this corner, adding another floor because I wanted to do that anyways, and modifying that floor, not just copying the ones that are already existing, but modifying that floor so that we could have a footbridge leading to a platform which would be next to the train track here, and then a footbridge over to the platform that would be on this side of the tracks, and then we could also have normal stairs on both sides just leading down. I mean, this sidewalk is pretty broad and this one isn't, but it would work. It would work. It would work. I would find a way. I'm sure of that. But again, it's just a plan for now. It's just an idea. Nothing happened so far. Nothing also happened in this part of town. We still have the traffic light tower there. We still have my police precinct. We still have, no, it's not a precinct. Let's call it what it is. It's the police headquarters, obviously. We still have my town hall mock, which is obviously very much inspired by the modular building town hall, and it's not finished and nothing has been done there. I still need to build that. I still need to finish that, obviously, in the future. And yeah, nothing new here. Nothing new. Brick Bank and Diner both expanded, but that was a long time ago. Nothing new here. Still have that small building there. I mean, having some of these tiny buildings is alright, but I still want to add at least one more story to that building as well. Moving on, I already told you about the expanded part. Apart from that, nothing new really happened here in my harbor except for the sailing boat. I think that is new. That wasn't here last year. But apart from that, nothing new in the harbor. Still have my warehouse there with my harbor cranes. I still like that design. Sometimes thinking about redesigning that, but nothing that is so urgent that it needs to be done immediately. Still have my little beach right there. I think some of these slopes might be new beneath the train tracks right there, just to make it look better than that. I mean, just having that floating in the air is no by near realistic, and that looks a little better at least. So proud to have that. I still haven't built anything in this vacant space right there, so I'm still thinking whether I should build a scrap yard or maybe a fun park, Ferris wheels, something like that. Not sure what to do with that space. So if you have any ideas, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. I've added a small scene right there. No, check out the horse. That is not part of the scene. I have added some homeless people or addicts basically, and they are of course addicted to sugar, because if you haven't noticed, sugar is prohibited in my city because we're in prohibition area obviously, and sugar is very rare and only illegal. So these guys are taking sugar. They're not that well, but yeah, homeless citizens apply to the rules, so no sugar. Sugar is prohibited in this part of city, in this part of the world, in this entire city obviously. And yeah, nothing new here. We still have the abandoned donut factory next to the expanded corner garage. Like that part of town a lot. We still have the tram tracks leading into nowhere. I am thinking for many years now, to be honest, about building some sort of bridge that would lead above the train tracks to indicate that the city is larger than it actually is. But again, that is just one of these plans which I don't get around to realizing, because then I get stuck with other plans and ideas which are easier to realize. So you see where I'm going. A lot of ideas, not enough time. Moving on, we still have the Sanctum Sanctorum and the police station. Again, these are rather placeholders than here forever, but they are here for quite some time now. So the police station is here for almost 3 years now. The Sanctum Sanctorum is here for 2 years. So I get used to them, you know, and they don't look that bad. We also have some other modular buildings here and my modified corner deli. That is not new, but it still looks nice. It still looks nice, you know. And the Elevated Railway Station, the downtown station, that is something I need to work on in the future as well, because right now it doesn't even have a roof, and it needs some kind of roof. I think we can all agree to that. And it doesn't need to be the most expensive design or anything, but some sort of roof would be nice, would be appreciated really by all the passengers. And then moving on to the forest, another one of these projects. I'm not unhappy with it, but I'm also not happy with it. I think there is a lot more potential for this part of town, especially for the mine here, but also for the mountain. And I can promise you that right now, I don't think that anything is going to change in this part of town. I think I will have a lot of more good ideas, but I don't think that is going to get so far up on my priority list. I'm actually going to work on this in this year. So have a look at it, enjoy the view, and I think nothing's going to change in this year in this part of town. But that's just how it is. What has changed in the past year is connected to this big bag of tan bricks and plates. Now, it's not the fire station, obviously, because that was finished last year already. Not last year, but 2023. But it's actually the Elevated Railway building, which I was working on during the last year. That was my largest project, actually. And that is almost finished. I'm already working on the roof there. I'm going to give you a better look from the front, but if you haven't watched any of the videos connected to that, I highly recommend you to do so, because, well, they are worth watching. You know, it's a nice project, which I'm happy that it is finally getting getting too close, not getting too close, but getting close to finished. And then we still have a gap in between the two buildings, which I'm gonna fill with another building. I already have some ideas in mind, but not a finished plan. Something for the future. Something for the future. I think I might have added another story to the assembly square right there to this part. I think that is new. But apart from that, nothing new here. Nothing new to see here. Still the same assembly square L station as before. And the only thing that is new here, I think, is the second moving truck. And apart from that, that all looks still quite the same. And now let's get a better view at my elevated railway building right there. And I really like how that looks. I really like the look of that. That was worth it. That was definitely worth it. Another thing that is waiting to be dealt with is the plaza between the Grand Central Station over here and the Town Hall. So far, just green base plates and the little statue from one of the city sets, but nothing else so far. So I'm still thinking about how to do this properly, which kind of color to use, because I don't just want to make this all dark bluish gray or light bluish gray. So I'm thinking about adding some colors. I'm thinking about adding some logos, some not logos, but you know, some patterns in there. So not sure how to create that really, but at some point in the future, don't worry, at some point in the future, it might take some time, but at some point in the future, we're gonna have a real plaza in between Central Station and the Town Hall. And now we're already back at where we started. Still have the expanded boutique hotel here. And yeah, what else is there to tell? I don't know. The space right here, vacant. I am thinking about building a signal house for the trains in this space right there. Apart from that, isn't there anything new that I haven't showed you already? Well, the advertisement posters, you know them already. Nothing new here. Yeah, I think that is really it. Any more ideas I could talk about? Oh yeah, a ton of ideas, but that would exceed the regular time of this video. Well, I told you before, I'm thinking about changing this entire part, and not just changing the street level by changing the road place there, but also the train station itself, because right now it's really open, just a simple roof. So I'm actually thinking about building a real station, something like the Central Station. I don't know if it's good to have a similar design color wise, but I already started with tan bricks down there, so it wouldn't be too bad, I guess, if I continue this design with more tan bricks. I just have to wait and see. Try some things. Yeah, that is really it. So plans for this year, what's most important to me, I want to finish this project with the design of the L, because it's very simple, but it's stuck in my head for so many months actually now, that I just want to finish that. So it's really not important, but it's important to me somehow. So I want to finish that, and I also want to continue the work on my town hall. I mean, it's in the middle of the city, and you can see that it's not finished, and I want that finished. So that is definitely another priority for me. And yeah, what else? Let's pick a third one. A third one is actually the conversion right here, from this weird look and waste of space to more efficient use of space. That is the third priority for me, for my city, for this year. So that is it for today's overview, and let me know in the comments down below what you want to see in my city in this year 2025. So that is it for today. Let me know what you think about today's video in the comments down below. Till then, have a good day, have a great time, and I see you in the next video. Bye.